This is Triggered.
And you will be. Hi.
Yo.
Welcome.
What is up?
This is new. I don't like change. We're doing change.
Guys, Ashley's having a hard time. If you're just listening on our, as a podcast, you should not notice a difference. But this is the first time that we are doing this separately. Ashley's at her house, I'm at my house. And B, we now have video.
I hate it, but we're here.
Ashley's really struggling.
As soon as there's a camera, and I was talking about this on our live last night, how I can chat all day and I'm comfortable. The minute you put a camera on me, I want to become Franklin the turtle and hide. Don't look at me.
Well, don't do that. Everyone wants to see your beautiful face.
All right.
So here we are. We had a great weekend.
Yep.
We're just, going with the flow, the beginning of the week. And yeah, I don't really I had one of those weekends that was just relaxing.
I did not.
Oh no.
But I mean, I had hockey.
You were just go.
Yeah, I was go. I haven't even caught up after dog sitting for a week. So I have a lot of catching up to do on my life, a lot of editing and writing to do.
Yeah. That's fair. But
we're here and I'm so excited.
Yeah, let's do it, girl.
Okay, so I have a story for you.
I'm already upset about this. So for those of you that don't know, the graphics that you see on social media, I put them together to give you guys a heads up, this is what's coming tomorrow. I knew the case she was doing. And so when I went to find the photos, I was like, what in the fuck is this?
So the way we run it is we share a drive and I throw the photos in of the case. So Chantal actually doesn't know the case, but she sees what I am preparing to do to her. And it's a lot.
I was like, what are these notes? First of all, that upset me.
Yes. So I want to start by saying, do you remember, Chantal, before we did the double episode and we talked about what scares the fuck out of me?
Yes.
And you said clowns.
Mine's clowns, 100%.
A lot of people are.
You said little fucking kids.
Scary little kids.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about the scariest little kid I have ever come across. And this is going to strike that same narrative, nurture versus nature. Are people born evil? How can little kids become monsters at such a young age?
Yeah.
So,
all right, let's go.
Have you ever heard of Mary Bell?
Not until this morning, and I'm disturbed, so continue.
Okay. This story, I think, is one of the reasons that I find kids so creepy when they're bad. Kids don't have the self-control adults have.
Right.
And when you take a child that's still developing and maybe throw evil into it, it's very deadly. I think it's very rare.
I don't like it at all.
No.
And I also subscribe to, I think there's both. I think people can be born evil.
Yes. So when you think of your children, before I start talking about the horrors of Mary Bell, when I picture my kids as little people, I remember the imaginations. My daughter would play mommy with her babies. My son would play with Thomas the Tank Engines. And it was a very innocent narrative. There was nothing ever spooky or unsettling about the way they would play.
Right.
And we would talk about main characters and we'd make up these funny stories about animals that I would name after them. Ashley the kangaroo or, anything like that.
Right.
And I would always take Bella was this big monster and Bella is our dog who is very tiny. So that's how we played. I wanted to kind of just talk about that because that's what nurturing does. It
Yes. Yeah.
grows a healthy mind, a healthy imagination,
Yeah.
but we would be naive to think that that is every child's experience.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, this is a common thing we see is children are, in a household with domestic abuse.
Mm-hmm.
And then they grow up to be these monsters with mental health issues,
Mm-hmm.
uncontrollable urges, and whatnot. Now, I have a question for you. Do you think if a child is removed from like a damaging household where they're seeing drugs abuse, they're being abused, etc., do you think that that damage is reversible if they're removed at an early enough age?
Yes.
Okay.
I think most things are reversible. I don't want to use the word reversible. Obviously, anyone who's experienced trauma, it's always a part of who you are, whether
Okay.
you like it or not. Do I think that people can overcome the trauma and live healthy, balanced lives? Yes, 100%.
Okay. Do you think if a child goes bad at a very young age and they do something very, very horrific, do they deserve a chance as adults to live a normal life because of what they did as a child? Or do you think this child has done something horrific? They don't deserve to be reintegrated back into society.
This is case by case for me.
I think so too. So, Mary Bell was born May 26, 1957, in Corbridge, England. Mary's arrival was far from a joyous occasion. Her mother, Elizabeth, also known as Betty,
Okay.
was just 17 years old when she had her. And Mary was her second child. So this wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is my first child. And like, I had the joy for both my kids,
Hmm.
but this was like, fuck.
Oh,
She's
this was like
17.
as if I had another baby.
Yes.
Okay.
And Betty was a local escort.
Okay. So
Okay.
this kind of affects her career.
Absolutely. So now she has
Hmm.
another child. Betty's this beautiful, vivacious woman, and she lives a very chaotic lifestyle. And now she has children. When Mary was born, Betty recoiled at the look of her. And this was a beautiful, perfect baby. She said, "Take that thing away from me," to the nursing staff. "Get it out of here."
I will never understand this, and we hear this often enough, but I'll never understand it because I'm just like, listen, I was terrified to bring my baby home because I
Yeah,
was like, I'm sorry, you're going to send her home with me? What?
me too. They're like, "Okay, time to get ready." And I was like, "Ready for what?
I
I'm
was like, no, 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 no.
23.
We need to stay here for a bit. And they were like, no, you're going to go home now. And I was like, and do what?
What do I do with it?
What do I do? But and as much as like, and that's part of like even the baby blues
Yeah,
that happen postpartum. But like, I'll never understand people who look at their brand new babies and are like, ew,
I
I don't
know.
want it.
And so Betty brings home Mary, but her life revolves around her lifestyle and her work. And
Yeah.
she
Okay.
never was home. She
Mm.
would often go to Glasgow, leaving her children, including little bitty baby Mary, in the care of whoever happened to be around. So
Just
she didn't care.
anyone.
Just take them. I'm gone.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes it was Mary's father. He was kind of in and out, but even it was really bad. It was,
Yeah.
"I don't want this kid." And she'd be like, "Well, it's your kid. Take the baby." So Mary's just being pushed around. We don't know who her father was. His name was never released, and Mary took
Okay.
her mom's name. So he
Okay.
was kind
Okay.
of. So for most of her childhood, though, Mary believed her father was a man named Billy. He married Betty when Mary was just a baby. So she thought that was her
Okay.
biological father, but Billy was not.
Okay.
And like, he was not a role model. He met her in the streets, obviously, as she was an escort.
Mm-hmm.
He was an alcoholic, a very violent man. He had a huge criminal record for armed robbery, domestic assault. Just, he was not the
A
poster
real
child.
winner. Yeah.
Um,
Exactly who you want to be bringing around your kids.
right. Her aunt, her name was Isa. She was very loving and sweet, kind of like a story that you had told in the past. would kind of pop in and visit the kids, but there was still no stability for the kids.
Okay.
And honestly, for some reason, Mary's mom had like a very deep disdain for her. A lot of her negativity and unkindness was projected towards Mary and blaming Mary for being born and ruining her crazy
I
lifestyle
was
that
gonna say it doesn't
continued.
it doesn't sound like she let Mary affect her life in any way, shape, or form. So I don't really understand that, but all right.
She's a psycho.
Yeah.
So, as a baby, toddler, and young child, Mary's life continuously got worse. She frequently suffered injuries in her household, accidents, we'll
No.
call them,
Mm-mm.
broken bones, bruises, and like these were always when she was alone with her mom.
That's awful.
Yes. And like Betty would withhold food, neglect her. She even at one point is said to have tried to kill her in a fit of
Kill
rage.
Mary?
Yep.
Oh, great.
So she'd have these fits, beat her, whatever, saying, I want to kill you. In one particularly horrifying event, though, in 1960, Betty dropped Mary from a first floor window.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What?
On another occasion, she shoved a bunch of sleeping pills in her daughter's mouth, would drug her for days so she didn't have to deal with her.
Can we just agree that, like, if you're to that point with anyone in your life, get help and get them somewhere where they can be taken care of?
Well, she did do that, but not in the way you would hope. She sold Mary. Sold
Oh, I
her.
can't. She sold me. Not
She
what I
sold her.
meant.
Right?
Not what
Yeah.
I had in mind.
No. So she sold her to this crazy, mentally unstable woman. It sounds like this woman was looking for someone to like be like a maid or something.
Oh yeah, here's my baby.
Yeah. Like she would have been a child at that point. And Mary's older sister found where she had been sold to and went and got her and brought her back home.
That's so sad.
It's really
I
actually
would have
quite
done the
sad.
same if someone sold my brother. I'd be like, I'm coming in. He's
Yeah.
coming home with me.
And that's exactly what she did. She's like, that's my sister and I'm taking her home. So she went
No
and got her.
kidding. No kidding.
Of course, now we're seeing the trajectory of her life. It's very unstable, very terrifying. And despite all of this,
Mhm.
Betty refused repeated offers from her family to take Mary.
Okay. So I'm instantly mad at this mom
Mm-hmm.
because you don't want her. It's apparent that you're not interested in raising her or taking care of her anymore. And you have people who are willing to step in
Let
and
us
you're
take
saying,
her.
no, get out of here. What the fuck?
So then Betty becomes a dominatrix, hosting clients within her home, and the kids are there.
That's not ideal.
It's really bad because these formative years, these kids are seeing abuse, beatings that are,
You don't feel like elaborating on what a dominatrix does, Ash?
I'm just like picturing this. If you want to be a dominatrix, be a dominatrix.
Oh, I'm all about
No
that.
judgment.
But like not in front of children.
Not in front of children.
Ever.
It's crazy. And then the sad part of that is she started allowing clients and encouraging them to abuse Mary. She started kind of having clients come in with these sadomasochistic ideas of children, and it became really disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah. She would also participate in these sessions with her daughter. So it was a very, very fucked up situation.
Oh, good.
Like, you're a fucking psycho. She would blindfold her daughter a lot and have her perform oral sex on a lot of these older gentlemen.
And how old would she have been at this point?
So this was all going on in the really early years. So she was doing this at 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh my God.
Yeah, young, very young.
Oh, that's so sad.
Of course, when you are constantly being abused and
Mm-hmm.
there's no stability,
Mm-hmm.
Mary starts acting a little off,
Well,
obviously.
no shit.
Yeah. She's starting to show signs of disturbed and unpredictable behavior at school. And the teachers are like, what is going on with this little girl? Because, of course, they don't know what's going on.
And meanwhile, she's going home and probably having to perform oral sex on like old
Right.
men. Oh,
It's horrific and
that's really
so
sad.
sad. She would have these sudden mood swings. The mood swings weren't just like, I'm happy, I'm sad. It was
Right.
like, I want to kill you. She was wetting the
That's
bed.
not great.
Yep. And she began kind of fighting kids on the playground. And, she's like, we're going to play tag. And another child was like, I don't want to play tag. Well, I'm going to fight you. And
And she would.
kids, boys and girls, she was
She
fighting
just,
everybody.
all right.
Yeah, it was actually recorded in the school records that she attempted to strangle and suffocate one of her classmates on several occasions. It's crazy. On one occasion, she is known to have attempted to block the trachea of a young girl with sand. So she shoved sand and tried to kill her with it.
Okay.
This is at school.
I mean, the kids come home with all sorts of stories, right? And there's been awful fights at their high school that like they come home and they're like, there's blood everywhere. And we're like, what? But I mean, kids are going to kid, right?
Yeah.
And for the most part, like we just let the school, we assume that they're the professionals and that they can take care of all of this. If there's this little like strangler going around, like
Like,
I'm going to the school
yeah.
and being like, hey, can we talk about your policies? Because I'm concerned.
Well, and this is the 60s, right?
I know.
So a lot of times it was like kids
Mhm.
go out and play,
Yeah.
live your life. Like it wasn't
Kids
as
are going to be kids. Yeah.
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 And
Crazy.
so yeah. So a lot of the kids were afraid to socialize with Mary
No shit.
because they're like, we don't know, and she's gonna just go fucking, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a scary thing. So, anyways, she did find a friend. Her little bestie's name was Norma Joyce Bell. They had the same last name, but they were not related, which is very weird.
Can you imagine
But
if we had the same last name?
no. So she was older. Joyce was older than Mary by 2 years. But she seemed a little simple in a sense. She was a follower. She really looked up to Mary,
Okay.
and Mary ruled her. She was
It
just
sounds like Mary had taken control of every situation.
absolutely. So by 1968,
Mhm.
her peers at Duvalville Road Junior School had become accustomed, like it was just normal every day for Mary to start losing her shit in class. So according to one classmate, when Mary would begin one of these episodes,
Mhm.
she would start shaking her head back and forth, and then she would just start staring like at one person. So she would lock into somebody, and they knew she was coming for that person, and she would. Maybe not right in that moment, but she'd start kind of shaking back and forth, lock into someone, and she was like, that's her victim.
I'm almost 38 years old and I'm terrified.
I know. The erratic behavior, that was her reputation. Even the teachers were scared of her.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah.
I'm scared of her.
Everyone was like, don't fuck around with her. She's crazy.
Mary's gonna fuck you up.
So Saturday, May 11th, 1968, the true extent of her behaviors and tendencies started to really surface in ways that shocked the community. Yeah. So a 3-year-old little boy was discovered wandering dazed and bleeding near St. Margaret's Road in Scotswood.
Okay.
He later told police he'd been playing with Mary and Norma, her friend, atop a disused air raid shelter. So they were playing on top of this shelter, so I guess on the rooftop.
Mm-hmm.
And she pushed him off. He's 3. She pushed him 7 feet
Mary
to the ground, suffering a very severe head laceration.
Well, no shit.
But the boy could not confirm which of the girls had pushed him.
Well, he fell pretty far, so.
And that same evening, the parents of 3 small girls, so these other little girls were playing, and the police were contacted again that same day after they pushed this 3-year-old off the roof. These parents went to the police and said Mary and Norma had attempted to strangle their children as they played in the sand pit.
What is going on?
And so here's your first red flag. This is escalating. These girls are dangerous.
And fast. Like, you're saying this was the same day?
Same day.
That's alarming.
Yeah. It's
That's
very,
scary.
very,
Yeah.
very scary.
Yeah.
And so the police did question both girls, and they denied being even near the air raid shelter, although people saw them talking to him and asking him to come with them. And then they changed their story and said they had found him injured. When they brought up the strangulation attempts, Mary denied. She was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Straight up, I don't know what you're talking about. Norma, on the other hand, admitted that Mary had tried to throttle one of the girls.
Oh my God.
So Mary's straight up, straight face. I don't know what you mean. And she's adorable. Like, if you look at Mary's photos, she's super cute. So you're like, it's this little, like, 9-10-year-old girl.
Do you know what scared me a little bit? That's exactly what I looked like at 10.
I was about to say, Chantal, you are Mary Bell.
It's exactly what I looked like at 10 years old.
We should do a side-by-side of a picture of you and Mary Bell. You're twins. You could be her mom.
Kill me. Honestly, as soon as they came up, I was like, I'm uncomfortable.
After Norma said that Mary did try and throttle one of the girls, her words, one of the girls said Mary looked at her before she did it and said, what happens if you choke someone? Do they die?
Yes, Mary.
So then she put both of her, and now remember, she's got 10-year-old hands. They're little. Little hands. They're small.
I love your little hands.
Like, I have small hands, but imagine
but listen,
a little girl.
Little hands on little necks.
True.
It's all relative, right?
But you would have to use a lot of force.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Like, people don't, it's not like in the movies. Like, if you're strangling someone, that's not happening in 15 seconds. Like, sometimes it takes minutes. It takes a long time to kill someone by strangling them.
Yeah. So then the girl said Mary wrapped her little hands around her neck, holding it until she turned purple. But another little girl ran in and, like, tried to get her off, and then Mary turned around and started doing it to her. So she's just spinning out of control. Like, this girl's like, I have a plan and I want to do this. And the police were disturbed. They were very, very worried. They're like, something's not right with this kid. Yet, due to their young age, both girls were issued a warning, like, keep your hands to yourself.
Please stop strangling people.
Right? And they're like, our job here is done. Those girls are never going to do it again.
We told them to keep their hands to themselves.
It's crazy. It's wild. So on the 25th of May, not long after this incident.
No.
So it's the day before Mary's 11th birthday. She's 10 still. She does the unthinkable. 4-year-old Martin Brown was found dead in an upstairs bedroom of the derelict house of 85 Margaret Road. This area is being renovated and rejuvenated. So they're tearing down a lot of houses, rebuilding houses, because we know what happened in that area during the war and stuff. These are old war houses. They want to take them down.
Yeah.
These kids are just fucking running amok through the city in these abandoned homes at 3 and 4 years old.
Well, and I feel like that was okay because for the most part, they weren't killing each other, but Mary certainly was. So the day before her birthday, she's like, happy birthday to me, and kills a kid.
Yeah. His little lifeless body. Yeah. His lifeless body was discovered by 3 children at about 3:30 p.m.
Aww.
So poor little Martin, and we have pictures, he's adorable, was found lying on his back with his arms stretched above his head. He had blood and foam coming out of his mouth, but there were no other signs that he had been strangled, choked, anything like that. And it was very puzzling for investigators because they're like, okay, what could have caused this? And at this point, they're not looking at another child. They're like, okay, what happened? A local workman named John Hall arrived shortly after the children discovered. So he ran in hearing the kids. He started CPR on the boy, but obviously his efforts were in vain because there was nothing they could do.
He was already gone.
Yeah, so this wonderful man who tried to help this little boy, he was working desperately to save Martin, and Mary and Norma appear in the doorway, and they're just watching.
You're creeping me out.
Uh-huh. And he shooed them away because he's like, I don't want these poor little girls to see this child dead.
Meanwhile,
They get shooed away. So they go and knock on the door of Martin's aunt.
okay.
So, of course, we're small knit communities. So this poor
Yeah.
little boy's dead. They knock on the
Yeah.
aunt's door
Okay.
and they say, one of your sister's bairns has just had an accident. We think it's Martin, but we can't tell because there's blood all over him.
Yeah, you know what? We see this over and over again. There was no bedside manner.
No,
It was like, hey, we found your kid. He's covered in blood. We're going to need you to come have a look.
it's crazy. And just like a lot of adult murders, these girls want to be involved.
Well, that's what I was thinking when you said that they showed up at the door. Like, they want to see the result of their handiwork.
Absolutely.
Like, we want to see everything. We want to know what goes on after they find dead people that we fucking killed. Like,
It's
what?
crazy.
I know.
Yeah. So then the following day, they did do a postmortem examination.
Okay.
And despite the troubling circumstances, Knight could not find any conclusive signs of violence on Martin's body. So he couldn't find his cause of death, which is interesting, but not shocking because little hands might not leave big marks.
Okay, fair. But you would think, I don't know.
Shocking.
It is shocking because you would think that they would be able to conclude that it was strangulation pretty quickly.
Now, by his body, they
Okay.
had found tablets on the ground.
Oh, okay. So
So they were
they
like,
weren't sure.
did he take some drugs and
Yeah.
overdose? Like,
Yeah.
because he's 4
Okay.
and he maybe have gotten into
Yeah.
something. These investigators had more questions than answers and they couldn't piece it together.
Right.
So
Right.
it was just a mystery, like a cold case. But it wasn't a cold case for very long. Because as we know, once you start, you can't stop.
Oh my God.
Yeah. On Mary's 11th birthday, so the very next day.
Ashley, stop. Are you kidding me?
No.
Oh my God. Okay.
Norma and Mary break in to this nursery school that's just
Okay.
outside the outskirts of town, sort of.
Okay.
And the two enter by peeling tiles off the slate of the roof. So these girls climbed on the roof, peel back the tiles, climb in.
I'm so upset.
It's crazy. So they
Okay.
literally tore all the books apart. They upturned all the desks. They were smearing ink, like just being little assholes, like
Right.
shitty kids.
All right.
But what they did leave, these kids, these fucking stupid ass kids, discover these notes left, but clearly
Oh.
written by children,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
These are the notes in our graphic.
Yes. And yeah, so you guys will have an opportunity to see these written notes, and you're like,
Yeah.
these are little kids writing these notes.
Yes.
So one of these notes that they left behind says, I murder so that I may come back.
Yeah.
Another weird. Another read, we did murder Martin Brown. Fuck off, you bastard. Like, that's such a childish thing to say, you know?
It's such a childish thing.
And then they had a third note and it said, fuck off, we murder. Watch out, Fanny and faggot. Okay.
So much aggression.
So much. Like,
Which I can get considering her childhood, but also like, let's all
And
just
then-
take a deep breath.
yeah. And then they did find a final note after searching, and it said, you are mice. Why? Because we murdered Martin Go Brown, you beat. Look out, there are murders about by Fanny AULD. Faggot, you screws. I don't know what that one is supposed to say, but it's like there's spelling mistakes. It's very all over the place, which maybe is giving us an idea of what maybe Mary's brain
Yeah, I was going to
is
say,
like.
maybe that's
Chaos.
yeah, like an intro into her psyche, and it looks insane. Like, it looks wild.
But even though these notes clearly state that they were responsible for the death of Martin
Right.
Brown,
Right.
police fluffed it off that it was a childish prank.
Which I can't blame them, honestly.
I can't blame them in a sense, but just like weeks before, these girls tried to
True,
kill little kids. Like, why are you
true.
not looking at them?
But I think, especially in the 60s, like they probably were just like, oh my God, these dumb kids.
Yeah,
Like, ugh, they're being ridiculous. It's their imagination. Obviously, they didn't kill this kid.
true. Yeah. A couple days later, on the 29th of May, Martin Brown's family is grieving the loss. They're about to have the
Mm-hmm.
funeral. They're having the wake at the home.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, we did their wakes at the home.
Yes, yeah.
And the girls decide they're going to play a game of check-in and go to the door of Martin's mother. They knock on the door, and June Brown, Martin's mommy, opens, and they
Mm,
say, I would like to play with Martin. And she looks at them,
shut up.
and then she goes, well, you can't play with Martin. And she goes, well, I would like to see him. And June, thinking, oh, they don't know that something has happened to Martin. She says, I'm very sorry, but he has passed away. And Mary smiles, laughing, and says, oh, I know he's dead. I want to see him in his coffin. Mm-hmm.
Someone come get this kid. Someone, where's her aunt? Someone come get her.
Yes, somebody, because shit's getting bad.
Oh my God. Okay.
Okay, so a couple days later, she's back tormenting the neighborhood. Summer's happening now, school's out. It's the afternoon in July. 1968, it's hot. The kids are running the streets because it's the 60s and it's
Yeah.
summer.
Yeah.
And this little tiny guy, he's 3 years old. His name's Brian Howe. He is playing in the streets, kicking balls, collecting rocks, doing little boy things, right?
Don't break my heart.
So he's playing with his siblings just outside the house.
Okay.
And the family dog's out there. Up comes Mary and Norma, and they see Brian, and they're like, why don't you come play with us? Let's go look around. He's three. He's a baby.
Why are we killing babies?
It's fucked. Mary, Norma, and Brian just mosey on away. Later on that afternoon, he's not coming back. So they're looking for him. They're getting nervous.
Aw.
Now it's the evening. Now it's dinner time. Where is he? No one knows. 11:10, a search party finally discovers Brian's body between 2 large concrete boxes. I also sent a photo of that. I don't know if we have it up. These boxes almost look like just giant slabs of concrete.
Yeah.
And in between, his body was shoved in there.
Okay. Okay.
And the area that he was found, it was called the Tin Lizzie. So explain the Tin Lizzie to you, because I had to look up what the Tin Lizzie was. In the 60s, Newcastle, it was part of this big urban project, like I explained. They were tearing down the old Victorian era homes and refurbishing everything. So because of all the demolished, rubble-strewn areas, a lot of kids love to go there. It was right up along these train tracks, and it just kind of got the name the Tin Lizzie, and that's where all the kids would be like, we're going to the Tin. See ya,
All right.
you know? So at first, policemen arrive, and they're looking, and they're like, okay, someone's trying to hide this body. But it was a very feeble attempt to hide a body. They were trying.
Like
they were
maybe like a 10-year-old trying to hide a body.
Right.
Okay.
And so they had taken clumps of grass and rubble and kind of put it on top of him loosely.
Okay.
Like the jig is up. It's like when a kid hides under a blanket and they're like, you can't find me.
This whole thing is so heartbreaking because everything you're telling me,
it points to children.
It's childish. You know, all of it is childish.
Yeah. Right away, when they saw his body, right away knew he had a little bit of blood in the corner of his mouth, foam. Interesting. We've heard this before.
Yeah.
Tons of scratches, and his neck was very bruised.
Okay. So this time it was apparent?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, a pair of broken scissors were laying right next to his body. And the coroner did conclude that Brian had died of strangulation this time, but he had been deceased for 7.5 hours at least before being found. So if you do the math, it was the afternoon that he was playing. They probably killed him immediately.
Well,
Took him there, did it.
They got him somewhere where no one was watching and did it.
Yeah. They also discovered that the killer had squeezed Brian's nostrils closed with one hand and gripped the throat with the other. And the weird thing was numerous puncture wounds were found all over his legs, genital area.
So they were just Experimenting. They were just fucking around.
They were
Oh my
cutting pieces of
God.
his hair off. Very
Okay.
strange things.
Yeah, yeah.
And they completely mutilated his genitals, which is just crude and awful and disgusting. It really
So
bothered me.
this whole thing is awful. From a psychological standpoint, of course she mutilated his genitals.
Of course.
She's had old man dick thrust
Yeah.
in her face and into her body for before she could remember.
Yeah.
Of course she did. And
You wouldn't
not,
expect less.
no, and not that that makes it okay, but at the same time,
She's
I
broken.
understand. I get it.
And then, of course, because that wasn't enough, someone tried to etch the letter
No.
M into his stomach.
Oh, good. So
So, like,
it sounds like she doesn't even, and of course she doesn't because she's a child. She doesn't even understand the repercussions of what would happen if she were caught.
no.
Because now they've left notes and she's carving her initial into his stomach. Like she
And
doesn't fully comprehend. Oh my God, if I get caught for this, like these are serious crimes. I've killed people.
yeah. No. I don't think she
No,
grasps
at
any
all.
of it.
Mm-mm.
And that is actually how they figured out it was done by a child because there wasn't enough force to properly etch it into his stomach. And they're like, this looks like a child did this. And
And
that's
now
how
they're
they
putting it
started.
together.
Yeah.
Okay.
They conclude, we're pretty sure we're looking for kids
Mm-hmm.
or a child or some children.
Mm-hmm.
They also took gray and maroon fibers that were all kind of strewn across his clothing. And these fibers did not source from any clothing within that household they checked. They determined that those fibers came from the killer or killers,
Okay.
sparking a large-scale investigation involving over 100 detectives and interviews with more than 1,200 children. 1,200, that's a
Wow.
lot of work.
Yeah. That's a big investigation.
Yeah. Witnesses reported seeing Mary and Norma playing with Brian shortly before his death. During questioning, Norma appeared excitable and nervous, while Mary was super calm and very observant. Both girls did admit to playing with Brian, but denied seeing him after lunchtime.
Okay.
They're like, no, we went home.
Just a quick side. Those behaviors that you just described are very telltale of leader and follower.
Yes.
So Norma being super anxious and super
Yep.
like excitable shows that she was just following Mary's lead.
Absolutely.
And Mary is the
Absolutely.
calm, collected leader who took control of every situation.
Well, and we're about to get a little glimpse into her psyche right now.
Oh,
So,
goody. I can't wait to go deeper into Mary Bell's brain. God.
So the following day, Mary told investigators that she'd seen a local boy hitting Brian. And he had a
Okay.
pair of broken scissors, she said. But this was the statement that implicated Mary because no one talked about the scissors. They were found
No.
at the crime scene. The boy that Mary was saying she saw had an
Mhm.
alibi. He was with his family, and his family's like, no, he wasn't even out that day.
They're like, no, he was here with us the whole time.
So now investigators are like, okay, Mary's been under the radar for trying to strangle kids before.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Did she do this?
So on the afternoon of August 4th, Norma's parents contacted the police, stating their daughter wished to confess what she knew about Brian Howe's death. Detective Chief Inspector Dobson visited their home, cautioned Norma, and said, like, listen, this is not stealing gum from the store. You need to tell
No.
me what you know.
Yeah, tell me everything you know.
Yep. So Norma says, Mary took me to the Tin Lizzie where Brian's body was laying. According to Norma, Mary demonstrated how she had strangled Brian, describing in detail how she inflicted scour marks on his stomach.
Oh, shit. So she knew everything.
Yep. She also allegedly confessed to enjoying the act of strangulation.
Oh, good.
So Norma then says, I can take you to where it is. So they're like, oh shit, she does know.
Yeah.
So she brings them to the location and they find a hidden razor blade that was used to carve the M in his stomach. Her sketch, so they had her sketch where Brian's wounds were on his body on like, you know, like a dummy. And then you're like, okay, show me where. Identical.
Exact. Okay.
Meanwhile, Mary is confronted at her home on August 5th, and she was defensive and evasive. She accused investigators of trying to brainwash her, declaring, "I will get a solicitor to get me out of this." An 11-year-old girl saying, "I want my lawyer," is insane to me.
Listen, I know. Listen,
She's
I don't know
clever.
how. I don't know how I feel about this case, to be honest, because I know that she's done horrific things, but she's a child and she's kind of badass. Like, sorry, I'm not speaking to
I'm
you until
like
I have my lawyer. That reminds me of my daughter so much.
11 years old in the
Yeah,
60s. Like
yeah,
she's very smart.
yeah.
So later that day, Norma went down and provided a full official statement admitting she was present when Mary strangled Brian. So her story
Okay.
changes because she said that Mary took her to the body. Then she recants that statement and
And
she
says,
says, "I was
I was there.
there." She described how Mary had gone all funny, pushing the boy into the grass and began to strangle him. Mary then allegedly complained, "My hands are getting thick, take over," before Norma fled the scene, leaving Mary alone with Brian. I don't know, because Norma's story's changing. I
Uh,
think she was more of a participant, maybe,
yeah.
than she's letting on.
I don't think Norma or Mary left that body.
I don't think so
I
either.
think
I
they
think
were
they
there the
stayed till the
entire
end.
time. Yeah.
Do you remember the forensic evidence of the tiny little gray and burgundy fibers?
Yes.
They matched Mary's woolen dress that she wore often.
Oh, Mary.
Uh-huh. And some of the fibers matched Norma's skirt. So she equally participated in whatever it was they were doing.
Yeah.
Yes. So Brian Howe was buried in a local cemetery on August 7th, 1968, in a ceremony attended by over 200 people. According to DCI Dobson, who had planned to arrest both girls later that day, Mary stood out the Howe household as the child's coffin was being carried by the funeral procession. She stood there laughing, pointing, and rubbing her hands together like this.
Pardon me?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Okay.
And DCI Dobson saw this and he thought, "Oh my God, I have to bring her in. She's going to do it again." Like,
Of course.
okay,
Well,
as a fucking parent, I think I would boot that motherfucker right in the face. Like, I don't care if you're 11, I don't care if you're
no.
101. You
Yeah.
hurt my baby, I'm going to fuck your day up.
Well, she's got bloodthirst.
Yes. And that's
Now
what's
she's
happening.
like, okay, I'm watching all these people die. There's no consequence yet.
I'm creating this narrative. I'm creating all this. I'm so powerful.
It's interesting that you say that because this is what I've been thinking like the last few minutes when you've been talking. She's doing this because for the first time in her entire life,
She's
she
powerful.
has control. Yeah.
That's right.
She has control. Where up until, she started being ridiculous and insane, her mom had control. The men that were being brought in were in control of her and her body and everything.
Yes.
So very interesting.
100%. That's exactly what's happening here. So both girls were formally charged with the murder of Brian Howe at 8 p.m. that evening. In response to this charge, Mary replied, "That's all right by me. Okie dokie." Like, huh? Hello?
Again, that's such a child response.
Yes,
she has no idea the consequences.
Bursts into tears, turns to Mary and says, "I'll pay you back for this."
Oh.
So in the presence of an independent witness, Mary prepared a written statement, which she admitted to being present when Brian Howe was murdered, but insisted the murder had been committed by Norma.
Norma, yeah, of course.
Yes, she also admitted that she and Norma had broken into the nursery school and did all the stupid letters they left.
Yeah.
Shortly after their arrest, both girls underwent psychological evaluations.
Yes.
The results of these tests, look at you, yes, give it to me. The results of these tests revealed Norma was intellectually delayed, as we kind of suspected there was something.
Yes.
Very submissive in character.
Yes.
Who easily displayed emotion. So she would, if she was sad, she would show. If she was distressed, she would show.
Yeah.
Whereas Mary was a bright, young, cunning character, prone
Mm-hmm.
to sudden mood swings. Occasionally, Mary was willing to talk, although she rapidly became sullen,
Yeah.
introspective, and defensive.
Yeah.
The 4 psychiatrists who examined Mary concluded that although not suffering from a mental disorder, she was a psychopath.
Yes.
Yeah, so suffered from psychopathic personality disorder. I'm like, yeah, she's
I'm like, you
psycho.
don't say.
In his official report compiled for the Director of Public Prosecutions, Mary's social techniques were primitive and take form of automatic denial, integration, manipulation, complaining, bullying, and violence.
Mm-hmm.
So Mary could just go through, what do you want to hear? Because I can say that for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know what these people want, so I can be sad when I should be acting sad. I can be, she's a psychopath.
I don't know, because listen, she's a psychopath. I'm sorry. I do know
I'm like,
she's a psychopath. You're like, I'm
yes.
sorry, you don't know? I do know she's a psychopath, but something that you would learn being essentially a sex slave is exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
What do I have to do? What do I have to say to get this person out of here as quickly as possible?
But those are characteristics of a psychopath.
Yes. But my question is, does she, and this comes right back to what we were talking about at the beginning. Did she come by this? Did she develop this?
It's
Did she
nature versus
develop
nurture.
this
Yes.
as she was trying to get these men out of her bedroom? You know, like, was this a developed psychopathy?
I know.
Where she learned very quickly, okay, if I do this, this, and say this, this, or this, or wear this, I'm sorry, this is going to sound very raunchy, but the quicker he finishes, the quicker he's out of here. So she would have learned very quickly, like, how do I manipulate him? How do I do the things that gets him to be done and then out of my life?
Yeah.
So was she born with it, or was it a developed psychopathy based on the sexual trauma and abuse that she witnessed and was a part of as a child? I don't know.
I'm gonna let's finish this up, and you're gonna
You're
get
like,
a little bit of.
Let me tell you.
Let me tell you what I know. So the trial began December of that year.
Okay.
So both girls were tried before Mr. Justice Cusack and jury, and both pleaded not guilty to the charges, of course.
Okay.
So they had 2 different defense lawyers.
Yes.
So they're not being tried together.
Okay.
Against protests from both defense counsels, on the first day of the trial judge waived the defendant's rights to anonymity on account of their age. A lot of places are not going to release the age of the defendants because if they're minors,
they're babies.
They didn't do that. They let them publish it. I'm like, yeah, good. So the media was allowed to know the names, ages. They had photographs of the girls. This was a circus. It was a complete shit show. And honestly, even both their lawyers tried to protect them, but there was no protecting them. So can you imagine the chaos of that whole trial?
Yeah.
Rudolph Lyons opened the case on behalf of the prosecution at 11:30 a.m. that morning. His opening statement lasted 6 hours. A 6-hour opening statement.
I'm speechless. There's not, respectfully, there's not 6 hours worth of content here.
It's crazy.
Oh my God. I'd immediately be like, actually, I lied. I can't be on the jury. Like, I can't do it.
No.
I know the victim. I gotta go.
Okay, so during his opening statement, he did illustrate similarities between the 2 murders. Now, remember, they're not on trial for the first one.
Right.
So he's saying not only did they kill Brian,
but they also killed Martin.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The girls were seen with Martin. So he's pulling up a whole other fucking shitstorm. So that, I think, is where all that time came, like a 6-hour. He was, I think, showing.
So. But fuck, 6 hours? No.
Oh my God. Lyons basically conceded by the end of his opening statement that Mary was the more dominant of the 2.
Mm-hmm.
He contended both girls had acted in unison and were equally culpable of the act.
Mm-hmm.
They killed these children for pleasure, and they knew what they did was wrong. And they did, because...
Of course they did. You know that murder is wrong, period.
Yeah. So on the fifth day of the trial, Norma testifies in her own defense.
Okay.
She denied any culpability in the actual murder of either child, but admitted under cross-examination to having known Mary's penchant for violence and her history in attacking children, obviously. And the two had discussed attacking and killing small children of both sexes. Questioned by Rudolph Lyons as to whether Mary had demonstrated to her how children would be killed, Norma nodded. She then conceded that as Mary began to attack and strangle Brian Howe, she had failed to alert a group of boys playing in the vicinity, stating she had failed to do so as I did not know that was going to happen in the first place. She had stopped hurting him for a bit when the boys were near. So these boys came, she stopped hurting him, and then they just pretended like nothing. She could have gotten help. I'm sorry. She could have said, like, help me. And then they did it.
Absolutely.
So Norma states she never touched anybody. It was all Mary. She was just kind of there. After hers, then comes Mary's. Mary testified of her own defense. Her testimony lasts 4 hours.
Whoa.
Yeah. And was briefly adjourned in one occasion when she began crying in policewoman's arms.
Mary, you full of shit.
Right.
I fucking see you, bitch.
She denied her co-defendant's accusations, insisting that although she had observed the body of Martin Brown at St. Margaret's Road, she herself had never harmed a child.
Ma'am.
You've been choking the kids at school.
Not even ma'am. Little miss.
Little miss, we know you.
We know. We see you.
Yep. And she and Norma do you remember when they had showed up at Martin's family's home to view the body?
How could we forget?
She said that was Norma that told her to do it. She said
so they're just blaming each other.
It's just the blame game.
Yeah.
Mary also conceded she had divulged to others her knowledge of Martin's death could get Norma put straight away, she told people. So she's telling people like Norma did it. When she was questioned with regards to the death of Brian, Mary claimed that Norma had been the individual who had strangled the child herself. And she's like, I was just standing there looking and I couldn't move. And like, I was so scared I didn't know what to do. And then she alleges that Norma had encouraged Brian to lie down, telling him, if you want these sweets, you've got to lay down. And then Norma climbed on top and strangled him. Nothing makes sense.
No.
Because she has the personality traits. She has been attacking kids. So we know what's happening here. It is what it is. Norma's mother, Catherine, did testify, saying several months prior to the killing, she and her husband had discovered Mary attempting to strangle Norma's younger sister, Susan.
Oops.
And and the only reason she let go is because the father punched her.
The 60s were a wild time.
I'm like, oh.
We're just out here punching kids. I mean, listen.
I'd be punching kids too.
If I walk in to one of my kids' rooms and there is another kid strangling one of them.
You're getting punched. Essentially, people are, tested. I could go on for, this is one of the longest trials I've ever read.
A 6-hour opening statement. I can only imagine.
You should have read that. I was like,
no, that would kill me.
Norma's defense delivered his closing argument on December 13th. He emphasized that although both girls were on trial together, no real evidence existed against his client. And the only evidence against Norma was Mary's accusations against her. Essentially, these were little girls, he said, one following the other, Then Harvey, Mary's attorney, stands up for his closing statement and he paints the sad picture of Mary's broken background, dysfunctional family. She lives in a fantasy world. There's a blur between what's real, what's not, which probably, yes, doesn't matter. She cannot be out in the world. We need to lock this kid up.
Lots of kids have rough upbringings and they're not strangling 3-year-olds. So too bad for you, Mary.
Yeah. So obviously, Mary is suffering multiple, traumatic things that have happened in her life still. don't care, don't want her in the world.
No.
Referencing the note that they left, it does show that they were absolutely childish notes. These kids had no idea what the hell was going on. They talked about all the lies that Mary said, and she really did believe a lot of those things that she was saying. But Mary also had no remorse, and she's very cunning, so she is very charming, very sweet. On December 17th, the jury retired to consider their verdict. They deliberated for 3 hours. Before reaching their verdict, Mary Bell was cleared for murder, convicted of the manslaughter of both boys on the grounds of diminished responsibility. Norma Bell was acquitted of all charges.
What?
Upon hearing the jury's verdicts, Norma clapped her hands in excitement, whereas Mary burst into tears as her mother and grandmother wept. It's so bad. Passing sentence, Mr. Justice Cusack described Bell as dangerous, and adding that she did pose a very grave risk to other children, and that he had to, even though the jury did say she would just be charged with manslaughter, I think the judge was like, I need to give her the harshest possible punishment that I can because this girl is going to fucking kill more kids. He sentenced her to be detained at Her Majesty's pleasure, effective and indefinite of imprisonment.
Okay.
Now, she was 11.
Okay.
She was Britain's youngest female killer.
Yeah.
And she still holds that. She holds that title.
I believe it.
So you're not going to like this at all.
Go on.
So she was moved around from place to place.
Sure.
She was in, obviously, a juvenile detention center. Like, they're not sending her to the fucking big house.
Right.
She moved from place to place. She was actually the only girl within this one place that she was at, and it was like for the worst of the worst. She literally scared the fuck out of everybody.
Well, yeah. Yes.
Now, she did claim that when she was 13, she was sexually abused by some of the boys, which I probably. But in 1973, Mary was 16. They move her to the HM prison in Cheshire. It's just a facility for women.
Okay.
Applied for parole over and over and over. By 76, she stopped applying.
Okay.
They moved her to a less secure institution.
Okay.
And it kind of sounds like she starts to be a little bit less crazy and people aren't really fearing her and she's creating friends and she takes a secretarial course.
Okay.
Sounds normal, right? Like 15 months later, Mary makes headlines. She and another inmate, Annette Priest, escaped. They went on the run. They were living it up in Blackpool. They were partying, going to clubs, hitting arcades. There's pictures of them. They're going to hotels. And Mary Ever, the schemer, used a fake name.
Of course.
She dyed her hair blonde. Like, they went hard. But the police did find her in Derbyshire, home of one of the guys she'd been hanging out with.
Okay.
So they rearrest her.
Right.
Do you know what her punishment was?
What?
A loss of privileges for 28 days.
All right.
So in June 1979, Mary Bell, now in her early 20s, is preparing for life beyond the prison walls because they're like, you know what, maybe we can integrate her.
Yeah.
They did. She was let out in her early 20s.
Okay.
She was working as a secretary, then as a waitress. And then at 23, she was able to walk out. So no probation. She's done. She did her little work. She got her job. She was doing her thing. They finally were like, okay, go. She had a baby.
Okay.
I can't. This person should not be allowed to have a baby.
I mean.
Nope. No.
Did she commit any other crimes?
No, because she was locked up. Oh, you mean after she changed her name? No, we don't know. She changed her name.
Because, like...
It bothers me so much because those kids never got to grow up and get married. Those kids never got to go to college. Those kids never got to be parents.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't care.
It's so funny. This is very interesting because I actually don't care that she got out and had a family.
I care very much because...
Yeah, I
don't know.
She was a baby when she committed these crimes.
Fair, but she should not be allowed to have children.
You know what? Would I have been mad had they sterilized her? No, absolutely not.
No.
But I could see her. I'm really surprised. You're really challenging me today, Ashley.
I know. So you do.
because
So you
I
do think she
usually,
deserves the second chance?
yeah, yeah, I really do. And that's
I don't.
shocking me
I'm
that
shocked we're
that
so
I'm
on the
there.
opposite end of
I
this.
know we never are. No, I really think like she was so young when she did that, when she
Yep.
did those things. I think if Mary came from a wealthy family, we wouldn't be telling this story because they would have had the means to get her therapy. They would have had the means to
Yes.
put her on medication, to put her on all these things. I I almost blame her mother more
Oh,
than
a
I blame
hundred
her.
percent. A
Yeah,
hundred
like
percent.
she was
There
a
is.
baby. She knew it was wrong, but like think about when the kids were 10. They knew lots of shit was wrong, but they still did it because they're 10. It's a time in your life when you're experimenting and it is your parents' responsibility to be like, "Oh, actually you can't do that."
I see your point of view on that. I really
Like I am
do.
not on board.
But I think this is a girl who is a psychopath. She is a diagnosed psychopath. She is killed. Okay, maybe give her a second chance to integrate.
So,
However,
what year would she have gotten out? Do you
78,
Okay,
79.
so we can assume that by this point, Mary Bell, whoever she is, whatever name she changed to, has lived out the majority of her life.
Yes.
Haven't heard of her committing any other crimes
Okay, but how do we know what kind of, do you think a psychopath can be a good mother?
on medication. Yes.
Okay, so I think if we had a choice, I truly do think having a child is a blessing and I think it's a
Hmm.
gift.
Yeah.
I don't think she should be allowed to be responsible for anyone else because obviously she wasn't raised in a stable home. She wasn't getting stability in prison. She was
Hmm.
being abused in prison. She got out. I don't know.
So I wonder, though, if that made her a fantastic mother. Because I wonder if, because she had a shit mom, a shit upbringing, she murdered kids when she was a child herself, went through prison, went through all these things. I wonder if when she gave birth to that child, she looked at it and went, I am going to do the opposite of everything that was ever done to me. I would be so interested to find out. And like, we'll never know because obviously she kept her
Yeah.
identity private.
And
But
her
like,
child's name. Yeah.
yeah, I would be so interested to see what her kid's upbringing was like because, yeah, it could go really bad and she could have been a shit mom and could have treated her child like shit.
I
But
just
I
don't know if
also
it's worth the
wonder,
risk. I don't think
but
it's
this
worth
is
the
where it's
risk.
so interesting. Like, I would love to know what ended up happening. Was
I
she a
know.
good mom? Did she integrate back into society? Did she have friends and family and all this stuff? It's very interesting.
It haunted me. I was like, no, I don't
Go
want
lay
to
down.
know that there is somebody, if she's capable of doing it at that age, is she capable of doing it and what happens if one day she snaps?
But she didn't.
We don't know that.
Well, we would know that.
No, we wouldn't. How do we know? She was very
Well,
cunning
because
and
let's
manipulative at
say
8, at 10.
true,
People get away with murder every day.
true, 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 true,
People
true,
get
true.
away with
If
abuse
she
every
got
day.
away with it, then yeah, we would never know.
I
But I
mean,
don't know.
you know where you essentially prison is a school. How to
Yeah,
be
I
a
know.
better how to be a better,
Yeah, true, true.
criminal. It killed me because I was like, I had a funny feeling. You're like, no, she deserves that second chance. And part of me did. Part of me
Hmm.
had a moment where I was like, yeah, maybe, but no, I couldn't because I was like, if that was my kid, nope.
Listen, definitely from a parental standpoint, I would really struggle knowing that the girl that took my baby's life was
Yeah.
out there living. From a completely removed third party standpoint,
Yes.
I'm
Maybe.
okay. Yeah.
Maybe she, I don't
Who
know,
knows?
repented.
Yeah. Ashley, thank you so much for this
Thank
fucked up
you.
story. I
Crazy
really
ass.
enjoyed it. Guys, let's start a conversation in our Patreon, in our community.
Yes,
I'd
let's.
love to know what you guys think. Like, do you side with Ashley and think that this woman should have been locked up for the rest of time? Or do you side with me? Let us
Yes,
know.
let's see. We want to know.
All right, bye
Thanks,
guys.
guys. Bye.
Thanks for joining us on Triggered, where we dive deep into the dark, the twisted, and the cosmic mysteries of the universe.
Until next time, stay curious, stay cautious, always watch the stars and your back.